confronts these monsters. Please! Get us out of here! They're killing us! Bloodletting, I think. These cave vermin poke and prod us whenever Arilus needs something to offer his saviors. To what end? I don't know. Maybe they're vampires, or wood elves. Poor bastard. Never seen these vermin in such a frenzy. They dragged him screaming through those doors there, and sealed them shut right after. Small mercies that we can't hear what they are. When Arilus isn't bleeding us, and tending to his saviors beyond those doors, he spends most of his time with whatever unholiness goes on in the tombs below. His keys may be there. Hurry and set us free before we wind up like your friend.
Please help us. Thousand venerations to you.
Bless you. I can walk, but you lead the way. We aren't free yet. We have to get out of here before those cave vermin come scurrying after us. Your friend's dead. If these saviors really are vampires, what chance do we have against them? I suppose if there's any chance, we have to try. Nobody deserves a death like this. I just hope you're right, or we'll all find out.
Welcome to Korgrada, visitor, such as it is. Forgive our lacking hospitality. Come, speak. I have not had civil company in some time. You arrive upon a momentous reunion of our filial blood. The day we have so long waited for. Bestowing on him the Korgrad legacy, he is taking the first step upon the long road to restoring this house. It will be a demanding journey that will require much sacrifice. His vitality. It will take all he has to offer to restore each of us. But if he is up to the task, he will reap a precious bounty. On the contrary, he will taste immortality as we have, but only for scant centuries, not millennia. In a few generations, our bloodline will be renewed and possess the purity needed to restore Faidur. The embalming process has already begun. When the stone is finished, we will be restored, and he will be a savior. I regret that Faidur must suffer, but his pain will be a small fraction of the sacrifice required to save Korgrad from annihilation. We are Ultima, even in this desiccated state, cleansed of our poisoned humors to be free of the great sickness from the sea. Now that you see the cure, imagine the disease. Thras, I had always suspected as much. The sickness bore an intent as if designed to spread misery and cruelty. To hear the Slode were involved comes as no surprise to me. It was ever present, ever penetrating. It seeped into every person, every creature, every drop of water, seeking to be quenched. The afflicted dragged themselves to corpulence with each passing day, until their bones cracked under their bulging flesh. We spare them the ravages of the terrible sickness that spread through Korgrad. In exchange, they care for us in this invalid state. So we have endured. So Korgrad has endured for longer than I can clearly recall. To be free of the disease is to be free of all humors. They offer us their tainted blood to sustain our fragile grip on life, and through sorcery, the sickness is purged. Together we flee its horrors. But there was no true escape, until now. Because he is kin, most would not debase their bodies with the blood of men. But I am beyond such concerns. The blood Arilas offered us from the outsiders was free of disease, but unsustainable nonetheless. Faidur will be different. We are Ultima. Thras. It was ever present, ever penetrating. It seeped into... We spare them to be free of the disease. Because he is kin. Most would not debase their bodies with the blood of men. My vain attempt to stop the sickness from spreading beyond our borders. The people rebelled against their confinement and nearly broke the quarantine. I was forced to destroy the sea walls and flood the town. To spare them and others from the gruesome death that was sure to come, or so I hoped. From that day forward, our only concerns were for our kingdom below.
For what reason do you barge into our home, as if you have the right to trespass our lands as you please? You may believe our condition diminishes our station, but we are the rightful rulers of Korgrad. You will offer deference as such. The other trespassers? They intrude as you do, without our sanction. Aurelius ends their vagrancy and sees that they are put to use. There may be a place for them in Korgrad when their restitution. The return of our pure-blooded kin means our long dormancy is nearing an end. We will soon be able to return to the world above and begin the long process of restoring Korgrad to its former glory. It will take all kinds. The sickness has robbed us of fruitful lands, so our servants have been reduced to eking out a savage, meager subsistence in this lightless domain. They have few interests beyond survival, and fewer interests still for continuing their... It is not your right to question us. We are the law of this land, and we will be obeyed. Their crimes are minor, as is their punishment. They will have their freedom soon, unless they continue to defy us.
How healthy you look. I barely remember the feeling of anything, really, aside from the slight ebb and flow of sluggish blood in and out of brittle veins. It was the only way. The choice was this long internment or a brief, horrid end. Our hope was to linger until we could be free of the disease. It was not a false one, thanks to that. No, it was never meant to be this long. To see hope within our reach and have it denied, we couldn't endure it. He will be well cared for. He will not be reduced to the suffering we have.
God, that was... I could feel my skin tightening as the stone drew the moisture out of me like a wineskin. I don't suppose you have water. My tongue is a whetstone. Right. I suppose I can keep up. I'll just lick the damp off the walls if I get woozy.
Saviors, I've failed you. You've stolen our future, but I swear I'll rob them of theirs in time.
Don't let him kill us!
I can hardly believe it. You found Henrik and Minderil, but where are the others? No, you've done more than anyone ever has for us. If anyone's to blame, it's us. We survive out here by sticking together, but we let fear keep us from doing what needed to be done. Was it quick? I can see. Tortured. Why? Just for the fun of it? Gods, I'll heed curses more closely in the future. The locals will write to avoid this place.
If it weren't for you, I'd have wound up a husk like those monsters, withering in that pit for who knows how long. I owe you my life. Even now, I still feel for them. What a miserable fate. I wish it could have been different. That Korgrad might have been redeemed. I used up most of my means traveling here, but take this with my gratitude. I'll stay with these people a while longer, if they'll have me. Best to stick together, and perhaps my standing will shield them from the intolerance my kind have for Nebarah. I don't know. Too often my kin seem content to forget ugliness exists in our society. If nothing else, someone will want to know about cave people harboring the Thracian plague. I hope someone aside from Sirabane knows what to make of that. My eyes still feel like they're covered in grit, but I think I'll be back to normal with a drink and a good night's sleep. The latter might be hard to come by until we are far from this place. My name may be all the means I can lend them. I doubt my parents will offer any support. Who knows if I'll even be welcome home when I return. I might be as much a vagabond as they when all is said and done. I'll do what I can, though.